Okay. All right, we are live. Hello. This is attorney Eric Clopper. Thank you for your patience. I know a live stream was scheduled for 5:30 p.m. and I was out walking the dog, which is first because I usually do it after race the sun going down, but I have everything under control. And I was thinking, these streams usually don't pick up for like 5 or 10 minutes at minimum. So why am I racing? Why don't we just get here on time? But I guess that's how the algorithm works. But anyway, so I am here to promote Intact Global's second conference, April 18th to 19th, right? So we're very excited. We've been working on that. Me and 3 other board members of Intact Global's board, we got together over the last 4 days. We organized who was doing what. We've more or less identified our caterers, some of our major events, so it's all going well. And we sold a bunch more tickets as well, so it's all good. But what I'm going to do on this live stream, in case you're thinking of attending Intact Global's conference, and you should, so you can kind of see how to walk through the process. We've updated the website, kind of streamlined everything, and we're excited for a very big event. We're actually working on securing our talent right now as well. And so some names hopefully you've heard of, right? I think so. It's going to be excellent. It's going to be a grand event. And it's going to be over 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday evening is going to be the big evening. That's going to be the big gala, the big fundraiser. We're going to have aerial dancers, probably showgirl dancers. We're going to have at least 1 or 2 very good skits, maybe from some names you've heard, and it's going to be fun, right? And it's going to be a great introduction to Intact Global, but more importantly, our mission to protect every child from genital cutting, right? So let's say, you're definitely 100% supportive. We should protect every child equally from genital cutting. Well, and, let's say you have a spouse or a partner or a friend who's like, it's like, he's really passionate about this, but I don't understand, and I don't need to. But this is a good event because we're going to have, champagne and let's say skits, and it's going to be an event, right? And so Saturday evening, you definitely want to be there. But then for those of us who have been in the movement for whether it's 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 decades or more, this is going to be a key strategy session, right? For other people who are very passionate about protecting children from, severing parts of their body at birth, right? Functional parts that they would never do if they had the choice. So anyway, let's do a quick little live stream here, or excuse me, screen share. Let's see. Let's do this one. So for those of you who are interested in attending the conference, which you should go if this is a movement that interests you, you're going to want to go to intactglobal.org, right? And so let me share that to the stage, and very simple link, intact.global/conference. So if you go to this URL down here or up there, you're going to get to Intact Global's ticketing page, right? And so that's at the top of the top bar of 2026 Intact Global Conference. Again, it's April 18th and 19th, which is a Saturday and a Sunday. We have an optional founders dinner Friday evening before. It's a five-star meal in Beverly Hills, Il Pastel. It's going to be phenomenal, right? I've eaten there with one of our board members who they know her by name and they love her, and it's going to be a beautiful event in the Olive Room, right? Which is for those of you who can, afford it. So April 18th and 19th, though, those are the major days of the conference, right? The founders dinner, what I was saying before, and here are some pictures of the venue, right? Il Pastel. It really is lovely, and the food is phenomenal. It's a 5-course meal, $349, right? But let's say that's a little rich for you, or you're flying in Friday evening, or whatever might be the deal. Well, then you can always just sign up for the Legacy Gala, right? That's the one that I was talking about. That's going to be more of a grand event. It's more, how should I say? I forgot to go live on Instagram. Well, here we go. We're live on Instagram as well. So the Legacy Gala, that's Saturday evening, right? 6:30 p.m. onwards. And that's the big event. It's going to be a big fundraiser gala. It's going to be fun. There's going to be champagne and dancers and probably aerial dancers. There'll be good skits. It's going to be quite the show. And it's a great event to introduce someone to the movement of protecting every child's bodily autonomy, right? Every child's right to be free from having parts of their genitals cut off at birth, because we've already granted that legal right to, how should I say, female minors, right? As long as their clitoris isn't too big and a doctor says, oh, is that a penis? We have to circumcise it, which makes no sense. But there's actually a fair number of female genital cutting going on in the United States as well when that's the scenario, which is totally beyond me. But so hypothetically, or I would say in practice, female genital cutting is sometimes legal if he's classified as a boy. But what's a much more legally coherent and just framework is if we just protected every child equally under the law, and you can't cut off parts of a child's genitals because they might exhibit certain sex characteristics, whether they're very obviously male or very obviously female or somewhere in between. We should just not remove functional parts of their sex organs. And I know that's a difficult thing to really comprehend if your whole culture has been, of course, it's disposable tissue to remove that specialized mucosa that took millions of years to evolve and is highly erogenous, right? Like, of course it's a problem. And if we were cutting off the eyelids of children, then you would understand what it is we're talking about. This is the eyelids of the genitals. It's very specialized. It has protective and other features that enhance intercourse, right? That's why Americans have to use lube to masturbate, because from over 100 million American men, we've removed the self-lubricating feature, which is totally beyond. But that's where we are. And most countries accuse us of being crazy for cutting the genitals of our children, right? And now it's not the only thing most countries are accusing us of being crazy of. So anyway, let me see if there are any comments. Here we go. What's the point of knowing this? To make me more depressed? Hi. Well, you don't have to watch the stream, but you should come to the conference, because it will be, how should I say, it's going to be more positively oriented, right? You mad bra? It's going to be more positively oriented in terms of what are the solutions, how are we stopping it, how can we mitigate this type of harm? So intact.global/conference, right? And this is what we're showing up here. So anyway, the gala is going to be a big grand event on Saturday evening, April 18th. And so you should mark it in your calendars and get a ticket, because it's $150, right? But if you already want to go to the conference, right, if you have 2 full days of intactivism in you, and there's a lot of us who do, how do we stop this type of violence against children? How do we stop it right now, not in like the hypothetical future? We sue states, right, on that constitutional theory that every child deserves equal protection under the law from the harms of genital cutting. It's winning in Oregon, and it can win in other states in terms of, we're going to get a decision on the merits, right? This was not dismissed on some legal technicalities. We're going all the way. But for this really to be the most effective legal strategy is that we sue every state under that theory, or every state whose constitution would permit it, which is 41 states, I believe, right? GalDef did the research and sent it over. Like, we could, if we raise $100,000, we could execute one lawsuit well, like what we're doing in Oregon. But if we raise $1 million, we could do 10 at once, right? It really is a scalable, input output. And so we really could protect our children from genital cutting as we scale up. And that's why this is going to be such a grand event, April 18 and 19. Like, really, we're going big. So anyway, but if you want to just get, for the first 100 tickets, we're doing $199. So get your ticket now, click buy tickets. And we use Ticket Tailor, which is like Eventbrite, but doesn't take as high a fee, and it's clearer. You do get tickets, 1 early bird, or maybe 2 if it's for you and someone else. You have this optional donation here of $25 to support intact litigation, which is a tax-deductible 501c3 organization. And then you just put in your name, Eric Clopper, right? So I'm normally logged into my password thing, which fills this information in, and so on and so forth. Maybe for myself and, friend Bob Jones, right? And if you have any allergies, let us know, because, we want to make sure that everyone has a good time, right? No one has a bad time. And there's 2 tickets, so let's say, and then one person is vegetarian. And lo and behold, right? And there you go. And this is saved, but I'm sure you have saved payment methods, and I hope to see you April 18 and 19. So anyway, that's the whole spiel. If you're coming on at the end, I was late today because I was out walking the dog in the day, which was great because, I got everything under control. But I usually don't have more people until the stream has been streaming for a while. So I thought I'd test if I just come in halfway, am I going to have the same number of viewers? And the answer is no. So anyway, we have some comments, and we'll answer some comments and wrap it up. You mad, bro? We talked about that. The conference is actually a good way to see the positivity and how we're making progress, right, and winning. Carlton Crispin, hi Eric, I want to be in person, but I care for my sick mother. I hope it will be live streamed. The live chat was lively last year. I'll still donate. Well, thank you, Carlton, for joining us on the live stream. That's super important, and so is donating. We really appreciate it. I was thinking about this today, and I think we're going to have to do a high quality live stream for the whole event, right? We really have to key it in. So we're working on making sure that the fiber optic Wi-Fi is working properly, and we got the equipment. So we're leaning into this big time, right? So yes, absolutely, Carlton, great question. And just like my live stream has been improved from a year ago, I strongly anticipate that our live stream this year will be at very high quality, and we want to stream that whole conference. Why not, right? This is for all the children and those who rights are being violated, legal constitutional right to bodily integrity and bodily autonomy and sexual autonomy. They don't have a voice, but we do. And so we need to speak for them and make sure that we stop this violence against children. So anyway, so yes. Gregory Malchek says, to make you go out and make the other guy more depressed and enraged. Okay. Venom Crester, hi Eric, I saw your Harvard play on YouTube back in 2018. I remember you saying you restored. Have you kept up with the advancements? Well, good question, Venom. Will it always be in LA going forward? I'd love to get an East Coast one. Let's see. We will explore, right? Because we have a grand venue, a grand headquarters in downtown Los Angeles, and the nice part in Broadway. Like, this is really top tier, leading venue and headquarters, right? And so I'd love to host a conference on the East Coast, and maybe we do one on the East and one on the West, and we do 2 a year, right? Because we need to increase the frequency of we need to increase momentum. And that's something that the team at Intact Global can do, right? But we need to have the right venue, right? Because what we do is we have an impact and where we are. So yeah, so the answer is yes, but we're going to focus on this conference, April 18 and 19, and you should get a ticket because it's going to be a grand event. Seriously, it's not something to miss. And ask people who went to Intact Global's first conference. That was great. That was a great conference. I had people who told me that it was the best event in Intactivism in 30 years, 30, right? They were like, this was we're on a different level now. This is going to be grand. So you should come. The logic is that amputation as a medical prophylaxis is to be discouraged. Absolutely. As Josh says, we're on the front line. Absolutely. So let's see if there are any comments on Instagram. For some reason, Instagram doesn't play nice with StreamYard. Great to see you. Luigi, thank you for being a voice and educating people. Turning a blind eye to this is ignorance. Absolutely. Mutilation without consent. So it's all good. I appreciate your comments. Carlton says, have you considered either reaching out or even short ads with popular online creators? That's a fantastic idea, and the answer is absolutely yes, and it is on the agenda, right? We're gonna see what works, and then we're gonna lean in because honestly, not I don't particularly enjoy doing social media, right? But it takes me 2 hours a month, and I get 3 million views, and the message is getting out to the right demographic. Um, sorry, I thought that was urgent. So yes, we want to definitely, but the reason I say that is we want to get people who have a lot of eyeballs in the target area to promote the event, right? And so that's what we're looking for right now. People who really believe in the mission of protecting children from genital cutting, who have like a substantial audience, ideally centered around Los Angeles because we're in downtown Los Angeles off Broadway, right? So we're in a great space for it, and their audience is disproportionately here. So yes, I know it costs money. Yeah, but there are some donors, or there are some voices out there, some influencers, some podcasters, some journalists, some actors and actresses, and public personalities who feel very strongly that we should not cut the genitals of children off when they're born. They say, it's just wrong to deprive this individual of their right to enjoy their entire body, their God-given body, whatever you believe in, the end result of millions of evolution. And we're going to start carving it off because we can bill for it. That's crazy. So yes, we're on it, Carlton. How much money do you think would stop a couple from mutilating their baby? The cost? It's a great question. And when we find that we don't fund neonatal genital cutting, circumcision, parents stop doing it, right? If I have to pay to mutilate my baby, I'm not going to do it. But if a doctor recommends a procedure to me, and I'm not medically trained, I'm a layperson. If I was, then it makes sense that you would follow the doctor's recommendation. You have to rely on that doctor to do what's in your best interest. But if that doctor is removing functional tissue from your skin's sex organs, that's a problem. And the reason he's recommending it is because he gets a pocket $400, right? It takes him 15 minutes, right? It's like cutting someone's eyelids off. Oh, 400, 500, it could be 2,000 in the hospital. They have a policy and procedure to perform this harmful procedure to infants because they can make millions of dollars, right? These could be single locations, right? These are making this a multi-billion-dollar industry, removing the functional tissue from the genitals of our children. That's a fact. That's not a hypothesis. It's well measured. It's obvious. And so we need to stop that, obviously. And so there is definitely financial incentives to continue to mutilate infants. But what we need to do is we just need to remove the incentive. We're not even making it illegal. And that's one type of litigation that we can pursue at Intact Global, right? And I'm happy to do both of those theories or multiple theories even, but we need the resources. And right now we could sustain one well-executed campaign in Oregon that seems to be working well. But if we raise more money, we could do multiple well-executed campaigns, because I only do well-executed. Like, since I've opened my firm, I'm batting, I'd say about 1,000. Anyway, how can we specifically target parents to be that don't know anything about this? Rachel, great question. Any ideas from the group? I mean, you can always do. Well, the problem is you don't make any money by protecting children from cutting their genitals, but you make money from cutting them. So, you can run ads to that demographic, but who's going to pay for it, right? I guess you could be, if you have relationships with doula offices or doulas or pediatricians or gynecologists or obstetrics, anyone in the medical field, nurses, to educate not only patients, but doctors and hospitals, what's going on. But, that's a great idea, but it's probably outside of a specialization. Anyway, so I think that's about it. That's about 20 minutes, I believe. Any last comments? I learned a lot from the live stream of the last conference, like Blue Cross dropping coverage for circumcision in 1987 and restarting it by 1989. And the medical CEO who was quivering, the word foreskin. Yeah. I'm hopeful, and I'm actually quite confident we've come a very long way in 35 years. And so where are these? We've got our foot on the accelerator, right? It's indefensible to perform medically unnecessary genital cutting and amputation on children. It's medically indefensible, legally, ethically, morally reprehensible is what it is. And so, but you have to understand the facts, which is this extremely important body part that has evolved over millions of years, most erogenous part that has like over a dozen functions, and nobody would remove it if they were given the choice, which is why it's forced upon infants. I mean, come on. But they can bill for it. I mean, please. So I anticipate the live stream will be even more informative this year. And I thank you so much for joining. And my goal and my hope is to do a live stream 3 to 5 times a week, right? Because there's other stuff going on, but I always appreciate your comments. And I hope that you will all go to intact.global/conference. There's the link. And before I go, I'm even going to give you the QR code. It might present backwards, but the QR code, well, let me know if it works. But there is the QR code. So click on that button. I should have mirrored the background, but you'll forgive me. And we will see you soon. And I'll see you at the conference, April 18 and 19. All right.